Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, back again for another Reading 101 video. The video series where I look through a transcription and we practice learning to play it purely based on interpreting what's been written down. This helps with your reading skills, which in turn will help with your transcription skills, because transcribing is nothing more than kind of reading but in reverse. As I always say, if you can see something and understand what that is going to sound like, then you're not too far away from being able to hear something and understand what that is going to look like when it's written down. This month I'm going to be looking at something very interesting actually. What I'm looking at here is this is a Tom Quayle performance. This comes from, in fact, let me load this up. So this comes from Tom Quayle's latest instructional package, which I did some of the tabs for. This is the modal performance, and if this is something that appeals to you, I'm going to have to sort of edit on the fly and move my camera around like this. If this is something that appeals to you, highly recommend that you go and check out Tom's package. That's a terrible non-intended pun there, but yeah, Tom's latest instructional set, absolutely worth checking out if you want to learn to play like Tom. You know, where better to learn, and who better to want to play like. So what I did is I threw this out as a monthly transcription challenge to my patrons over on patreon.com, and those guys have all had a go at transcribing this, so I am going to do a Reading 101 on it. Anyway, here's Tom playing the performance. We'll just listen to a bit of it just so you have an idea of what's going on. So if you're wanting to master the mode, you know, this is not a bad place to begin your journey. We're not going to look at quite this much of it. But as I say, if that is something that appeals to you, I recommend you go and check out Tom's video on the subject, which is on his website. Anyway, so if we take a look at the actual transcription. Now, as I say, I need to kind of edit this kind of stuff on the fly to make me look good, and make sure you can still read everything. So I tell you what, we will full screen it, and I will zoom in to like 200%. Get rid of that. There you go, that works. Right, so as many of you know, Tom tunes in fourths. So I am tuned in fourths for this. I provided the transcriptions for Tom's stuff in fourths and in standard tuning. But yeah, I thought I'd pull out the fourths transcription. So I'm tuned E, A, D, G, C, F, which means all of my chords are out. I can't play G like this anymore. It's now this. A major is now this. D is this. Pentatonic scales. So, none of that should really matter though, because this isn't about finger patterns, this is about practicing our reading skills. So I'm just going to put my fingers where I'm told to play them and use this as a way of working on our rhythm interpretation. So, let's take a look at the first phrase. Now, when we look through the entire transcription, we're talking about 16th notes, syncopations, and the occasional 30-second notes for ornamentation. If we look at just these first two beats. Now this is only two notes, right? But we have to understand what it is. So we play on the first beat. There is a grace note slide from the 5th fret up to the 7th fret, or an F up to a G. Yeah, F up to G. Tuning's really throwing me out. And that is held for 3 16th notes and then is picked again on the 4th 16th note. So just that as a phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a. So that's that first phrase. This then holds through the second beat and then bends up on the last 16th note of that beat. So if I play that nice and slow, we have 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a, with that little bend on that A. 1E and a 2E and a. Accuracy, very important. You know, that's what's written, so that's what we play. Now, this next phrase, I don't think so much about, you know, what is this? Although I can see this and see, well, this is a quarter note rest, so nothing is played in beat 3. I look for the next piece of information. So after playing this, after reading this, I'm now looking to, well, what is this? I can see that this is the last beat of the bar. This is the first 16th note, it's a rest. And then we have the last 3 16th notes are played. So beat 4 would be 1, 2, 3, 4 E and A. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and A. Now, if I try and put that all together, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3, 4 E and A. So, attention to detail. Now, here's a phrase where we're starting to introduce 30-second notes, right? So again, like the reading skill is the important part here. I want you to be able to look at this and understand what this means before you attempt to play it or transcribe it. We need to know what this is. So 4 16th notes would be 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 E and 30-second notes. Same thing but twice the speed. So this is going to be a 16th note, 2 30-second notes, a 16th note and a 16th note. So if my pulse is here, da 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 da. Now it seems ridiculous, but holding a pulse down like that and reading a rhythm, da 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 da, rhythmically different to this, which would be da 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 da. Da 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 da. Now if I try and play that with the notes, we have da 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 la da. Now what I'm going to do for, you know, more context is practice reading this phrase. This is a 2-beat phrase. It begins on the 4th beat of one bar and moves into beat 1 of the next bar. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's attention to detail, right? I'm practicing that and understanding that rhythm as its own thing. Let's move on and take a look at the next idea. So to me, this idea begins here and moves up to this beat down here. We'll get to that though. So beat 2, well, nice and easy. The first 3 16th notes are a rest, so this note is played on the last 16th note of the bar. 1, 2, 3, oh, it's on beat 2. 1, 2 E and A. 1, 2 E and A. 1, 2 E and A. So same rhythmic phrase as before. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Should be pick pick. And then if I add on that phrase, we'd have so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Da 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 1 E and Now if I try and put that entire phrase together, just putting 1 16th note leading into that, we'd have 1, 2, it's on beat 2 again, 1, 2 E and A. 1, 2. Now if I add on the final note, that will feel more like a phrase. So that's just hitting 3 hammer onto 5 on the start of beat 1. So that's this entire phrase. I've moved my face. Be able to see it better. There we go. 3. Let's take it from. I'll take it from the start of this bar, but I won't play that. So I'm reading this. So we go 1, 2. 1, 2. So there's a phrase. Now let's try and plug this entire section together. We're really focusing on reading a rhythm here, a complicated series of rhythms. This, remind you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1 E and 2 E and. So there's our first part, and then our second part, 1, 2. And when we try and put that all together, if I read that nice and slow for you, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, here's where the transcription needs to be detailed, right? Because Tom, in his, well, I say right, you know, you're not overly familiar with his performance, but he doesn't just play the second fret and put vibrato on it, and he doesn't just sort of go. It's very deliberate. He hits the and of the first beat, 1 E and and then in that second beat, it ties over, it bends on the second, it releases for the third 16th note, it bends on the third, it releases on the first 16th note of beat 3, and then continues on with the phrase. So, just looking at that, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1. I can't do that at the same time. I would really love to. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I add in this next phrase, tricky little fingering for it, but we're releasing, second fret, and then we hit. That works. So yeah, putting that entire thing together, we have this 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that phrase sort of continues into the next bar, rhythmically similar to this, da 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 da. But instead we have da 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 da, staccato. I mean, obviously that's tied over from the previous bar. So if I play from here. That makes sense as a phrase. Now, let's try the whole thing. Let's make me a bit smaller so you can see everything. Tiny Levi. I'm like a borrower because I borrow people's music and transcribe. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. So 1, 2, the entire thing, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know that sounds complicated, right? But if I pull up Tom's actual recording, I hadn't planned to do this, so sorry. Otherwise, I'd have this set out. It just occurred to me that Tom's probably not going to launch a copyright strike against me for my video. Also looks like this is really kind of making my video lag. So some clever editing tricks will be needed here. There we go, right. So make Tom nice and small. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. I'll tell you what, I'm going to move Tom off screen so you can see the transcription. So here is Tom. So we're just looking at that part, the first 10 seconds or so. Now, if I slow that down, I should be able to play along with that, not too difficultly. Not too difficultly? Not with too much difficulty. There we go. Sorry, my bad. It feels way too slow at that speed, so let's try a bit quicker. So that's that phrase. Let's try that at full speed. Not too bad. And then again, if I have the entire phrase there. Yeah, that works. So that's going to be fun to edit together. Yay, joy. Gotta love editing, fun. So let me just bring me back up. Now, hopefully that makes some sort of sense. Now, of course, that's not the most difficult phrase, but it's about understanding these 16th note syncopations and being comfortable really reading them and counting them. There's another, let me see. There's 5 pages of that I've transcribed. So plenty for you to get your teeth stuck into if you go and check out Tom's new instructional package. If not, you know, that's also cool. Go and give Tom some love. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Check out his website. He does have a lot of cool stuff. He's one of the pioneers of kind of modern fusion instructional material, if you're unfamiliar with his work. He is awesome, one of the absolute best, and a good person to boot, which also helps. Speaking of good people, you knew it was coming. These guys over here are my Patreon supporters that support me at a $10 or more tier. They help to make videos like this happen. Also, good people like Tom Quayle make videos like this happen because they employ me. So that's cool. Those people are cool. These people are also super, super cool. So huge thank you to these guys. It means I can keep doing these videos. And you can be like these people and join these people. Get involved on my Patreon and we'll look at projects that I'm working on. I'll give you transcription challenges and you can go away and work on them and come back and I'll give you feedback and try and help you become better transcribers. So if that is something that appeals to you, you can click this button up here and subscribe to me on Patreon. You can, of course you don't need to do that, you could just subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's free and that's awesome too. Your support is very much appreciated, so click this button down here and you can check out 2 more of my videos here and here. Much love guys, thanks for all of the support, it means the world. I always say that, it's a catchphrase but it's true. So keep it up and I will keep making videos because I love doing it for y'all. So peace out and I'll see you for another video soon. Bye.